All right, we got a special guest here with us today. We got BlackCherries from the Green Level Clearance server, and I'm going to turn it over to him and let him share his handle story behind BlackCherries and also say welcome.
Black cherries, or just cherries. Uh, Thanks for having me, first of all. Uh, I'm currently an administrator for the Green Level Clearance Discord. And in terms of my handle, uh, it was originally a nickname from a friend. They they said that my real name auto-corrected in their phone to Cherries, and I've been using that as my sort of gamer tag ever since. And then I usually just I'll add like black cherries if it's online, and if it's IRL, I'll use cherries. But yeah, no special story. Um, and I guess it's a little close to my name, but not really.
Hmm, that's interesting. All right, well, feel free to just share your Netrunner story with us.
Yeah, sure. Uh, I got into the game around summer 2017, and how I got in wasn't through any like friends or people recommending the game to me. It was actually through boardgamegeek.com, which has a list of like several different board games and stuff like that. And what I was looking for specifically was a new asymmetric game, because I am a collector of board games. I have over like 20 of them. And one of my favorites was always like that, the ones that were asymmetric in nature. And so I wanted to find a new one that I could learn and share with my friends, play. And so um, I quickly found Netrunner, and I fell in love with the asymmetric nature very quickly. I thought it was so cool that like a card game could be different on both sides. Just because I was so used to growing up with like Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon and everything else my friends played. And so um, I think the first product I bought was the original core set. And if for listeners, if you know the timeline of the game, summer 2017 was probably the worst time to buy the original core set, because maybe only 2 months later, it was announced that the original core set was going to be discontinued,
Mm-hmm.
um, for the revised core set. And so during that time, I tried to get my friends into the game, but um, I think they were just a little put off with the fact that it was so different from what they knew and what they were used to, those being like the previous card games I had mentioned. Um, and so I looked towards the internet, to find, people I could play with and learn and learn from and participate in tournaments and stuff like that, compete. So the first Netrunner Discord I actually joined was not Green Level Clearance. It was actually a different Discord server, one that I think has been disbanded since. And that one, while a little messy at times, I definitely still credit it to me like further being engrossed into the game. If it weren't for that Discord server, with all its flaws and all of its messiness, uh, if it weren't for that Discord server, I wouldn't be like where I am today in my Netrunner journey. Um, and so it's been so long, but back in 2017, I was just a beginner. I was trying to learn. I do so many different things to learn, and I try to share like all those things I did with people joining level clearance today. And so, um, eventually I joined green level clearance, and I was asked to be administrator, which I am now today. I think I've been an administrator for like, I don't know, a while. I think almost a year maybe. And I've just been um, helping people where I can, providing learning games, and not going easy on beginners. That's
Hmm.
what I make sure not to do. Uh, but yeah, I think that's the gist of my Netrunner journey. I think one thing I have to add is there was never an IRL component to my journey. I know a lot of people start IRL and then eventually move online, especially with what's been happening in 2020. But there was never an IRL component. Uh, there was just the first few weeks where I tried to get my friends in, and when I couldn't get them in, and when I found Jinteki.net back in 2017, that was my primary source of playing. And so I still haven't, to this day, I haven't competed at all IRL. But maybe that's something I look forward to in the near future.
Yeah, so you've played any games in real life, or has it all been online?
Um, I think I've played maybe 2 games IRL,
Hmm.
both with my friends, and both unsuccessful in trying to persuade them to continue the game.
Yeah. All right, so are you interested in real life, or do you have the possibility in your area for that type of
Yeah,
local meta?
there's definitely a thriving local meta. Shout out to Toronto, Mississauga. Um, they're there. I'm on Discord with them. Um, I think I'm just so used to the online meta. Um, in my mind, I've always considered it like the difference between online poker and IRL poker.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost a different game.
Yeah.
But I think that's definitely something I'm interested in
Awesome.
eventually.
Awesome. Yeah, I hear you. That's I mean, like you said, there's pros and cons to both in real life and online, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, I've definitely bought into the online portion quite a bit. It took me a while because I'm a board gamer originally as well, and I didn't want
yeah.
to do that. And that's what took me so long to get on JNet. I didn't start JNet until probably this year.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, I was always like I want to play it in person, but finally I got over it, and I've been having a blast with it, honestly.
Were you able to play in person at your local game store?
I ended up getting a buddy of mine to play starting early 2019, February 2019, and we put down probably 125 games before
Wow.
April 2020, and then it kind of died off a little bit where we just play, once every few weeks, and I've been digging in on online since for the past about 6 months now. So
You don't know how jealous I am.
yeah, I mean, it's definitely I like that the bluffing aspect and everything when you're watching them make moves. That right there is definitely something that's enjoyable. You know what I mean? It's something that's added, but at the same time, it's really nice to use that extra brain power to not figure out credits and figure out all that stuff too on the online. So they, like I said,
Yeah,
they both got their pros and cons. You,
yeah. I think while recommending the game, I usually do like specify that bluffing aspect, and it really comes back to like the poker comparison I made.
mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely. All right. Well, so you're same as me. Sounds like you were a board gamer first. Let me hear the top 2 3 games that you love.
Oh man, the top 2 3 games.
Yeah.
Um, the ones that I own, or just the ones that I love.
Yeah,
Actually, it's probably the same.
yeah. I assume you probably own them, but if not, just your favorite two, three games of all
Um,
time.
so I think Five Tribes is definitely in my top two, top three.
Okay, I like that one.
That's a very tough analytical game, and it definitely requires like a lot of thinking. Definitely not one for like a Friday evening game after drinks.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think another one is Carcassonne. That's one of my more recent purchases.
Okay.
Um, it's a classic, but there's something um, so nice in its simplicity.
Yep.
Your actions are so simple. You put down one tile and you put down one of your meeples, but there's so much depth and strategy available to you in that pair of actions.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and um, I've grown maybe a little complacent, but I think Catan um, was my original game into the world of board games back in 2013. One of the very first board games I played, or maybe one of the very first non-popular board games, I should say. And since then, I've just grown my collection since. But yeah, Catan definitely has a strong place in my heart.
Yeah, for sure. The one that I'll say I really enjoy as well is the Five Tribes. I got it in my collection as well, and it's probably in my top, probably like 15 games or so. But it's just a
Yeah.
great. It flows really well as long as some people aren't AP. You know, it gets kind of rough if you.
Yes, that's what I always say. It's so hard though because you definitely do want to find like you kind of balancing taking not too much time and trying to find the best move. Especially if the person right before you takes your move or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's a great game, but I definitely do wish sometimes that there wasn't so much strategy available.
Yeah, I mean, I usually just play it with my wife, and we'll usually just you know just make the move that we see. We'll take maybe 20, 30 seconds and analyze and just make a move, not really worrying about if I'm hooking her up too often and stuff because
Yeah.
and we just go through it
Can,
and get that
can I
point
ask you a
salad.
question?
Yeah.
What do you think is the ideal board game time or like the length? What is the ideal length of that one board game should take? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, in the past, I really enjoyed that about hour to an hour and a half length.
Yeah.
But since then, I want that epic feeling in my board game, so I'm good with an occasional 2 3 hour game. But at the end of
Oh
the
wow,
day,
yeah.
there's plenty of games out there that have an epic feeling, an hour and a half, and that's my sweet spot, really. And
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
that's what Five Tribes offers too, especially at two players. You talk about 45 minutes to an hour with two players usually. So it's a lot of
Yeah.
depth for that amount of time. It's all about time. It's all about depth to time for me.
Depth of time, yeah. That's a good ratio. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got to if I it's just like Monopoly at 3 hours. If Monopoly was 30 minutes, it'd be a fine game, but it's a 3 4 hour game, and therefore it's all. I want real decisions and real
Right.
meat if I'm going to step into a longer time frame, and so that's kind of how I
Right,
look
right.
at games because time is
Yeah, Monopoly is
valuable.
definitely one of those games where you have maybe a low to medium level of depth.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. So that's what I think creators have gotten better with over time is identifying depth to length, saying, okay, King of Tokyo is a Yahtzee style game. It takes 20 minutes to play. It's a lot of luck versus,
Yeah.
a game like Five Tribes at an hour is great, so I like that. But Yeah, well, we're getting into some board games today, but I'm okay with that. Like I said, I was a board gamer first, so let's jump over to Netrunner here. So,
Yeah.
how many games would you say that you've pumped out since you started in 2017 here? Just an estimate. I always like to kind of gauge because I'm sitting on about 250 right now myself.
Um, including online.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, if I had to give a rough estimate, uh, probably in the thousands, maybe even approaching five digits.
Wow,
Uh,
wow.
yeah, I think there's just, I think my journey is so different because I started online and I've stuck to online. I think if I had been an IRL player, that number would have been a lot less.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, um, I am a kinesthetic learner. So I learn best from um, experiencing a game and then at the end of a game seeing, okay, where were my decisions? What decisions worked for me? What decisions led me to my demise? You know, and so one of those that I always recommend to beginners is uh, try recording yourself. Try recording yourself and looking back at the footage maybe a day or two later with a clear mind and just seeing, okay, if I had made this decision differently, would my game have been better for me or worse, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
um but yeah, in terms of the number of games, it's a lot.
yeah.
It's a lot.
I mean, it's a lot easier to pump out games online than in real life, right? I mean, you can
Yeah,
cut the time down quite substantially. Yeah,
yeah.
I can definitely tell when I play you, you seem to know what you're doing. Let's just put it that way, and absolutely slaughter me. So, and I appreciate that.
uh I've never thought of going easy on people low amounts of experience or even intermediate levels of experience. I've always thought, it's doing them a disservice to kind of play only at your 50% or 25% capacity. I think
Hmm.
you want to show them, that you respect them as a player, as a gamer, as a competitor, uh, by going all out, giving them, their full money's worth.
Yep, absolutely. So, have you done much in the tournament scene as far as
Uh,
doing that? Because it seems like you're pretty good.
as a competitor, I think I still have a long way to go. Um, I haven't. There aren't too many accomplishments I'm proud of. Some of them, or most of them, are in beginner level tournaments back when I was still joining. I think one of my proudest was like a few years ago when I joined um, Biokin's uh, open tournament, and I think I placed in the top four
Hmm.
of uh, of like 30 or 40 person tournament. And I think the footage is still available on YouTube if anyone wants to check it out. I My top four match, I tried to pull a crazy neural philodic play. I tried to flatline my opponent, and I couldn't get the uh, I couldn't get the six net damage kill.
Hmm. Yep.
But it was a lot of fun, and I think the next step in my competitive journey is, you know, competing at like sort of the world's level. We're talking about like American Continentals, and things like that. So I skipped out on this season, but hopefully next season I'll be a competitor.
Got you. So you're not doing worlds this year?
Not competing, no.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, definitely. I'll get that link from you and put it in the description for your Bjorken's game tournament games there if you can hunt them down for us. And
Yeah, yeah.
so,
Spoiler warning: I lose the game, but I think it was a really fun moment, just because you rarely see like six net damage in one turn,
mhm,
and and a runner surviving six net damage in one turn.
yeah,
So it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
for sure. So, what's your favorite factions on each side?
Oh man, that's tough. I think on the yellows, on the corpse side, I definitely like yellow, NBN. I definitely love the aspect of uh, going broke to make the runner go broke,
Hmm.
or even stuff like cards like market forces are really cool to me. It's almost like corpse siphon
Hmm.
in a way. And on the runner side, um, I think criminal. I I'm not sure I have a favorite runner, but if it had to be, it would probably be criminal.
Okay.
Uh, Something so cool about all the synergy between their cards and running. You know, Paragon gives you a credit when you run. Um, you play cards like Bravado to help you run. Security testing, which give you money when you run. Just so many cards that like synergize well together. And even though they're not um, flashy and exciting individually, when they come together, it makes something special.
Yep. Yeah, I've pretty much only exclusively played criminal, even though I keep on wanting to branch out, but I just want to experience, them and get good at them. So I know exactly what you're talking about. It definitely fits my style of play as well, a little bit of aggression in my style. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of new players and even old players just love being aggressive like that,
Mm-hmm.
prodding and poking at the corpse ice.
Yep. So tell me, what are your current goals? As far as like, what's your things that you're interested in doing to have fun and challenge yourself in Netrunner currently, or even future goals? It sounds like you're thinking about going competitive next year, maybe. So,
Yeah, in terms of goals, um, uh, I think there's always a battle in within me to play um, maybe I should say a tier one deck, and on the other side, a part of me wants to play something that I've created myself. Um, and so that battle to play something that I know is already competitive, someone else's deck on Netrunner DB or things like that. And on the other side to play like something I created that has, cards I love and things like that. I think in terms of a goal, I want to find that happy balance between those two opposing sides. Um, but in terms of competitive placements and things like that, I definitely want to compete at a local level as soon as World season is done and as soon as it's safe to meet IRL, of
mm-hmm.
course. Um, in terms of, I think, an administrative duty, I think we want more tournaments available, and we're really looking forward to Gateway and system update later this December.
Mm-hmm.
Um, right now, we have the modded format, which I'm not sure all of the listeners may know. That's modded format is basically the latest core set available cycle of cards. So it started off as revised core set plus guitar cycle, and it's currently System Core 2019 plus Ashes cycle. And so that modded format is going to eventually become an official Nisei format to be named, to be announced. And when that format comes around, I think green level clearance will definitely be um, the home to where, you'll get a lot of games in that format available to you.
Yeah. So with modded, are they? Man, we're getting into it. I still have more personal questions, but let's go ahead and get into the green level clearance here because it's going to flow.
Yeah, sure.
Um, so, uh, so with the modded tournament, you've got. I know about the modded, and I show my games of it on the channel here. But you got
Yeah, I've seen them.
is it going to be um, Gateway plus the newest or plus Ashes, and then when the new cycle comes out, Gateway plus the new cycle, or is it going to be Gateway plus all Nisi content? You know, what is the actual, I guess, format? Is it only one cycle at a time?
Um, so System Core will be replaced by Gateway. Yeah, that's correct.
Mm-hmm.
And if I remember correctly, I don't want to misinform. Okay, so I've got the article up. So the new format will be made up of um system gateway and system update. So yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
as well as ashes. So number one will be system gateway,
Uh huh.
which is sort of the beginner product,
Right.
uh, as well as system update.
Uh huh.
And the third part of that format will be the most recent set from Nisei. So that's currently Ashes, and that can eventually be the next set of cards in the future, 2021 and beyond.
Absolutely. That's going to be good. I mean, I love the limited format. That's actually the only format I actually attempt to deck build in currently because of that. And
Yeah,
the rest of them I just net deck. And so I'm looking forward to the new cards coming out and along with at first Ashes and then eventually the next cycles. But Ashes with the new cards will just be a fun shake up, I'm sure, you know?
yeah. And besides the new runners from Gateway, I'm hoping people are excited for, especially people who are going to play the new format. I hope they're excited for the new the returning IDs. Have you checked them out?
I have it.
That's Ayla and Steve.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yep.
Um, so it'll be really cool for newer players who entered the scene after Terminal Directive rotated
Mm-hmm.
for them to re-experience Steve and Ayla.
So are they going to be standard legal again, or just going to be available in the modded format?
So they're going to be in system update,
Uh,
which means they'll be available for the new format as well as standard
yep,
format. Yeah.
yep, that'll be cool. Uh, so I definitely played with Steve. Didn't get around with what is it, Ayla? You said?
Ayla, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, I never got around to playing her, but definitely those are some cool IDs for sure. So
And then currently you're playing in modded play.
and Red Runner. I'm doing modded and I actually jumped out of modded for a few weeks to get a few more games in for Worlds because I'm going to be playing in it. Not saying I'm going to be,
Oh, nice.
but I'm going to be down at the bottom. I just want to just do it. Don't worry about.
I'll be rooting for you regardless.
I'm like I said, like I tell everybody, I'm shooting for about 275 out of 300. If I can get a couple wins, I'll be happy. I'm assuming there's going to be people like me there since they're not having to travel this year. So I'm hoping to get a couple of
Hmm.
wins in, and just have some fun.
Yeah.
So let's start from the beginning with green level clearance then, because since we're on that, go ahead and share what was the motivation behind green level clearance being stood up, and what is the ultimate goal of green level clearance as far as building the community and all.
So I think with green level clearance, that has always been a place and will continue to be a place for new players as well as veterans of the game to have a place available to learn together, compete together, ask questions at a beginner level or even an experience level. We have questions asked that make all of us, check our uh, play policies and rule sets. Sometimes we even have to directly ask Nisei. But in terms of that ultimate goal, I think we want to continue having it as the just a home and a hub for uh, new players as well as uh, veterans alike, and hopefully everyone can bring each other up in terms of um, the veterans help the new players becoming more experienced, and then those new players help the next set of new players become more experienced, and it's just a cycle of help helping each other.
For sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I absolutely. I mean, I just absolutely love the channel. I love what goes on there. People just, communicating well and like you said, helping each other, but also laughing and having a good time and just playing games. I mean, it's just a great community for me, and
yeah,
it's my spot, man. Honestly, out of all of them, I enjoy STEM Hack as well, but I kind of, I only got so much time, so I've kind of put invested in the community over at the Green Level Clearance as my primary home for sure. So I appreciate
right.
y'all.
And in terms of the history of Green Level, I think Green Level really saw its spot in the network runner community during the um, end of the game officially back in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people fell off, and uh, I can understand their motivations as to why. I think losing official support for the game definitely hurt it, at least in the short term. Um, in terms of the long term, the impact is still yet to be seen, but we wanted a place where people could still enjoy and play the game and still be active even if the official support back then was waning off, and back then we didn't know what the future of the game was going to look like, what whether people were going to continue playing, and to see Nisei continue and uh, continue the game and take the reins over was definitely inspiring for all of us. And we felt like, okay, we had to make this a place, where eventually, sometime in the future, if Nisei can continue to bring in new players, we had to make sure there was a place that could support those new players.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's looking like it's
And yeah,
happening.
yeah, 2 years later, I think we've hopefully done our job.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually I've seen definitely an influx in newer players asking for games and everything lately. Have you kind of felt the same way?
Yeah, yeah. Um, Especially since Ashes came out. Um, I think just like new players knowing that there are still new cards coming. Um, I think that's definitely brought them in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what do administrative roles kind of duties administrative duties kind of look like for you at the green level clearance server?
Um, I think it's just what you imagine. Nothing too special. Just moderating chat, making sure uh, it's a place of respect and following, um, you know, the uh, I want to say cordial rules, implicit rules of interaction. Uh, we don't want our community to be like the wild west of the internet. Um, even though we might not be IRL, I think there's still like a level of respect to be maintained. And then mod and organizing tournaments, um, making sure communications from Nisei are broadcast for everyone available to see. And so we have specific channels set up for announcements and from our team as well as the Nisei team. Um, if you were to join Green Level Clearance server, you could see we have specific Nisei roles for our members who are part of Nisei, and I think that's really cool to have. Um, Members of Nisei join our small community.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in terms of being an administrator, I think it's in the name almost.
Right. Yeah. So I do know that Nisi hangs out on green level clearance. They're wanting to catch the mind of newer players to help them with continuing to develop product and all other kinds of things, and also
Yeah.
just be engaged. Do y'all have any other kind of relationship with Nisi that you're able to share? I don't know if there's some collaboration that we don't need to know about. But I was just wondering, is there any other kind of relationship y'all have, green level clearance and Nisi, besides that?
No scoops, no scoops
Uh,
available here. I'm sorry,
no, I'm
but
not.
uh, they're I guess we just have like a formal business like relationship with them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we want to make sure. I think the biggest priority for our team and their team as well is um, making sure information is correctly uh, broadcast and spread. I know, especially with gateway and system update, which um, I think I want to, I believe were delayed. Uh, and I know now that December, it will be the release date. And so making sure that is correctly spread and informed that yes, beginners, there are still new cards coming on the horizon. This is not a dead game, as so many people, especially new to the scene, like to say. So that's our biggest priority in conjunction with the Nisei.
You there?
Yeah,
Okay, okay, yeah. It
can you hear
sounded
me?
like you cut out. Yeah, I heard you. You stopped your sentence, but it kind of did a little noise, and I was like, did it cut out? So, all right. Yeah, like I said, I really appreciate what you all do on that channel. I mean, like I said, it's my home. I'm not brand new, but I'm definitely a newer player, and I want to experience the original game. So I absolutely love Netrunner. It's really my favorite. But modded is
Yeah,
just great to get in, every week and try and play around with different, decks and have the ability to have a limited card pool to learn the new Nisi content. So it's all phenomenal, and I look forward to new formats from you all as well. So I'm very
yeah,
thankful to y'all for keeping that going, and just happy to be part of that community because like you said, it really is. It feels like I actually know several people in that community and joke around with them and reach out to them on the side asking if they want to get games in. It's just great. So,
yeah. Are you looking forward to the Ret Runner um, refresh?
oh my goodness, you have no idea. It's like I'm so excited about it, but at the same time, I was that the last one I actually did halfway decent in the last tournament, so I'm excited even for that. But yeah, I'm really excited to start back over in core because I've played a lot of the core cards, and I want to try my hand to see how well I'll do in that tournament, and no, so
Yeah,
but
and for your listeners as well, if you're interested in visiting the game back from day one, Ret Runner is a format where we start with and one cycle, it's almost like going back in time and visiting the journey. So if you're interested, yeah, hop on green level clearance where that's completed. We're gonna restart with the original core set.
Yep. I think we got probably 4 weeks of data in Destiny, so we're looking at probably beginning of November, firing off the restart at original core. Isn't that right?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So so definitely, it's if you're new and you're interested in, like you said, starting from the beginning, right now is your chance. Um, so
Yep.
we're excited to have as many folks as possible playing. I am, and seeing what happens.
Yeah. Were you you said you were registered for the current Runner tournament.
Oh
Do
yeah,
you have your identities ready?
I do. I'm going HB and Anarch, and I've like I said, I've never really played Anarch or Shaper, so I'm stepping out of my comfort zone on the runner side, and I played a lot of HB at first, but I really like that kill winning condition, and I'm kind of stepping away from that to do a little bit of Glacier this time. So I got to practice
See.
that deck a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, so, but
I'll be rooting for you.
I appreciate it. I'm hoping. I mean, like I don't know if you know about the historical PowerPoint that walks you through all of the different. It has the best.
Archetypes, yeah.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm basically gonna this time through Rat Runner like I did it for this one, but for this tournament, but starting over at core, I'm gonna use that historical PowerPoint all the way through, and the next time we start over, I'm gonna build my own decks. Right, that's kind of the game plan here. So
Nice.
yeah, so as long as I can pilot those decks, I got a really good chance of doing pretty well, and on the
That
next time through.
PowerPoint
What's
that
that?
PowerPoint was really good when I started the game too, and I can't believe it's still helping other players.
Yeah, for sure. It's awesome. I actually did an interview with Kata124, who's the creator of it, a few weeks ago, and he ended
Oh,
up
wow.
saying he's interested if people want to add to, reach out to him, and he'll work with you to possibly get some extra, alternative decks if there's just a really cool deck that was out there, even though it wasn't that powerful or anything. He's interested in appending it
Yeah.
to make it
Yeah.
better. So just throwing that out there to you if you're interested in any of that. So, but all right, well, coming back to you, just a few more questions here. How much time would you say you put into Netrunner every week, from playing to, I guess, just spending time in the community?
Um, I think the answer during quarantine has definitely, definitely skewed up. Uh, I think these days, especially with the lead up to Worlds and me helping my local metamates as well as people in the green level clearance server, uh, I've been putting so many hours, almost, I don't know, I'd say like maybe a dozen each week, maybe more. Uh, but especially after this week is over, with Worlds being next weekend, um, I think I'll definitely be taking a break from how much I've been playing.
Yeah, that's what's up. I mean, I know it's a little bit of probably a sacrifice to dedicate so much time, but I assume you're probably having fun as well along the way, huh?
Yeah, I I think the biggest reason I want to take a break is because I get very competitive, and I think as a byproduct of that, I get very salty. Um, and so it it's almost like getting to my mental health. I gotta make sure I just take a break from the game, make sure that I keep enjoying the game, not just from winning or losing, because there's so much to enjoy in the game. Um, the synergies, the cards, the flavor. Uh, I think that's really a great selling point.
For sure. Yep. So I want to go back to Nisi real quick because usually what I ask people, I mean not Nisi but green level clearance. Usually what I ask people is there what formats do you play in? But in this case, I want to ask just are you able to share any of the possible new formats y'all might be bringing to the green level clearance server? You said you're looking to get more tournament formats over there, so I understand if you can't share, but I figured I'd ask. Any of them y'all been thinking
Yeah,
about?
for sure. I think when Gateway and Update arrive, the modded format will transform into the new say format,
Mm-hmm.
and tournaments for that new format will definitely be available through green level clearance.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll still continue having the Netrunner series of tournaments, and I think it's definitely possible and in the pipeline that we have standard format tournaments on green level clearance as well. Um, I think our first priority is always players with low levels of tournament experience. And so, even though standard format may not be our highest priority, I think it's still definitely something we want to make available to all the players in our community.
Yeah, I like
So
that.
hopefully, besides those three formats, hopefully that covers it all.
Sure. Yeah, I like that idea because whenever you step out into standard in the real world of Genteki, it's like if you're a player like me, you're about to get slaughtered on a regular basis. So just having that ability to, like we do with all the other formats on green level clearance, find players on the same level to enjoy those formats is really a big part of it for me personally.
Yeah,
So,
and I see you using the tags,
mm-hmm.
right,
Yep.
to ping other players. I think that's a really great thing you can do on Discord. Um, and for some reason, I feel like I only see like our format tag system on our server. I haven't seen it on other Netrunner servers. I think more people should adopt that, just being able to tag at modded, at core, at runner, looking for game. I think that's really cool.
Yep. Definitely. All right, so back to you. Um, what do you believe your biggest strength is in your play of Netrunner?
Uh, uh, tough questions. Strength.
The next one's even tougher. This one's supposed to be the easiest.
Oh no. This one's the easy one. Oh no.
Well, I'm about to
I
ask you
think my
about your
biggest strength
weaknesses.
is
I'm going to ask you about your weaknesses next. It seems like people usually.
no, weaknesses is the easy one. I'll
Uh,
start with my
all right, let's
weaknesses.
do it.
My biggest weakness while playing Netrunner is I think my mental stamina. Um, I know during standard format, if I'm sitting across from a PE or um, like a sless trap filled deck, I definitely can feel my mental stamina decreasing. So I think that's not on other players. I think it's um, not right to blame that on others. I think that's something I need to learn and understand and see what the aspects of that deck are, or that archetype. Um, the biggest advice I always give to others is if you don't understand how a deck works, try playing it yourself and see the strengths and weaknesses. Um, so that's something I definitely have to do with that specific style of deck, especially the PE no ice decks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Going back to my biggest strength, um, I think I'm great in analysis. I'm great in analysis outside of the actual game. So I mentioned before that I love to record my games and 24 hours later, dive into them and go decision by decision and see which decisions I made may have been my downfall. The only problem is that that's something I have to do, 24 hours later. It's not something I can always do on the fly, um, especially during a game. So I think that's my greatest strength and my greatest weakness.
Hmm.
That's cheating, I know, but I think that's how it is.
So you done made me. I have to ask you more questions now from your strength there. So, kind of tell me what kind of how do you use OBS to record your games?
I use a free screen recorder. It's called a PowerSoft
Okay.
online. So it's just a free online screen recorder. I did back in 2017 when I was, just initially getting into the game. And yeah, OBS could work too. I think I just wanted a in browser
Mm-hmm.
option as
Okay.
opposed to having to download OBS software. Um, yeah, I use that.
All right. And so, do you, whenever you play it back, put your games in a little bit of a fast forward mode, or are you playing at regular time, and are you stopping it to analyze things? Kind of give us the gist of
The
your
breakdown.
process there. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I think there's two separate strategies. One is for my own games, and one is for people I am coaching and providing analysis to, which I've done in the past. So, uh, other people's games, what I do is I'll go turn by turn. So I'll start with the runner's first turn, and then I'll go to the corpse first turn. And I don't usually dive too much into the opponents. I just try to share what I think the person I'm coaching could have done differently or even better. Um, I try to share my insights into why this decision they made um, may have been bad for them, even though it was good in the short term. It could have been bad in the long term. That's definitely a mistake I catch very often. Just because you play this event now, you might have wanted to save that event for later um, when it could have a greater reward. In terms of my own analysis, um, I don't write down as much. Um, it's more just me and my film study and just going through. Uh, I go through my motives for my decisions. So, for example, if I run a server, I go through. Okay, why was I running that server? And was I sort of ignorant to other decisions I could have made? Was I kind of uh, uh, what's the word? Was I sort of like uh, focused in too much into this one decision, and I didn't have my decision making broadened enough? Was I missing something on the board? Maybe they only had one ice on a server, and I should have been uh, going for that server instead.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's interesting to see in film study, there's a lot of retrospect, because the end result of the game. Um, I know you record your own games. Do you analyze them as well?
I do go back and usually watch them, but I'm not analyzing that hard, and I'm definitely glad to have them in the archive to go back and do that at will. I've continued to hear people talk about analyzing the games after, so it's getting me more motivated to do so, right? And really dig
Yeah,
in.
one thing I always recommend is making sure not to have that retrospective bias.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you know that, let's say there's a decision where you, as the runner, don't run something that's advanced in the remote. Um, but obviously, in film study, you know that that card may have been an agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to kind of play as if you were in the moment. You don't know what that, or sorry, not play, analyze as if you were in the moment and as if you didn't know that card was an agenda and see what the best decision there was. If the ice protecting that card was too expensive, then maybe the best decision wasn't going for that card.
Yep.
So for me, analyzing my own games, that's what I try to do. I try to analyze as if I were in the moment, as if I didn't know what was going to happen at the end of this game.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Good stuff for sure, and hopefully that helps somebody else as well. It's like you said, it's pretty easy just to use that browser recorder there and go back and enjoy and learn from your game. So good info.
If
Last, go ahead.
if green level clearance included and I can't say I'm a great player. I think the analysis I provide can second opinion.
Yeah.
Just reach out to me. Yeah.
Yep. You broke up just a little bit, but I'll go ahead and interpret what you said for the crew. Cherry said that if you're interested in getting some of your games, a little bit of coaching, a little bit of analysis from him, he's available. So just reach out to him, and he's happy to assist with that for you. So, last question here. I always like to give people, even though I assume yours is going to be pretty positive, I always like to give people the opportunity to share their feelings on how they felt like Nisi's done so far and did for the community uh, and all. So, you there?
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, you hear me?
We're good.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. In terms of how they've done, I think they've done better than my expectations could have perceived them to. I think what they've done for the community has been amazing so far. And I think it'll culminate next weekend with Worlds. I think um, the challenge of hosting IRL Worlds last year was already so high, and I think the challenge of hosting an online Worlds has set the bar even higher for Nisei, and I think they'll do just fine this weekend. Um, looking forward to Gateway and update and seeing where they want to take the game. Uh, and even as a competitor, I think I like the majority of the cards they've put out so far. You know,
Yep.
um, so I definitely have a glowing recommendation for them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's what most people say, and that's how I feel as well. So I just always like to hear because I'm a new player. I always like to hear other people's opinions on it who's been around for a while. But so I just like to let that be shared. But yeah, absolutely. Like I say all the time, I'm a fanboy. I think they've done an amazing job of keeping this thing alive and interesting, and you feeling like this is really, a scene that has competition and all that going on, and has areas for new players like what you guys provide, and just everything. So it's good. So, all right, well. Hey, I got a lot of good information from you today, and hopefully others glean some great stuff as well. And I appreciate you coming on. And normally I usually play a couple of games with my interviewees afterwards, but I think I had to catch a rain check on you due to some stuff I got going on today. And we'll
Yeah,
play
no
a
problem.
couple of games for to post on the channel as well later. But I'm going to get this interview up for folks, and
Yeah.
hopefully more
No,
people find
thank
out.
you for having me. Thank you for having me, and thank you for continuing this series. Um, I've listened to a couple of your other videos and interviews, and I think you're doing a great job.
I appreciate it, and I'm just glad to bring light to light people in the community such as yourself that are just a part of the community that keeps it thriving and growing. And like I said, I appreciate all y'all do over there, and I appreciate your care for newer players such as myself. When you could be playing standard with the big dogs, you're hanging out with us and teaching us and caring for us. So just much respect to you and Dergel. And who else is an admin on Green Level Clearance?
That's it.
That's it.
Awashi, yeah.
What's that?
And Awashi and Flag.
Okay. Okay. All right. I got you. All right. So, yep. I'll let you go, and I'll be in touch. I'll see you around, but definitely want to get a couple of games to throw up on the channel with you as well, so that people can see how bad you're gonna whoop me. So.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, take care. See you around.
Thank you. Take care.
All right.